Hey everyone, so today we're going to dive into a question that seems pretty simple on the surface, but, well, it gets really fascinating when you peel back the layers. How do businesses actually plug their own private offices and data centers into the cloud? No, it's not magic, it's networking. And in the next few minutes, we are going to make it all make sense.
So just picture this, right? On one side, you've got your company's headquarters, maybe a few branch offices, and your private data center. And way over here, you've got the cloud. Let's say it's AWS. What's the actual, wire that links these two worlds together? This is really the heart of what we call hybrid connectivity. And you've got to get it right. It's totally fundamental to how a company operates and grows. To keep this super simple, let's use an analogy that I think really works. Think about your daily commute to work. You've basically got two main choices. You can take the public highway, it's open to everybody, it gets the job done, but you're gonna hit traffic jams. Or you could pay a little extra for a private dedicated expressway where you're guaranteed a smooth, fast ride. Now, both will get you where you're going, but the experience, totally different worlds.
Okay, so let's start with that public highway. For most companies just dipping their toes into the cloud, this is the go-to option. It's that quick and easy on-ramp that gets you connected without a huge upfront investment.
This on-ramp is called a site-to-site VPN. And the key thing to remember here is that it travels over the public internet. A VPN basically creates a secure, encrypted tunnel for your data to move through. Think of it kind of like an armored truck driving on that public highway. Your stuff inside is safe, sure, but you are still totally at the mercy of rush hour traffic, accidents, you name it. It's secure, yeah, but the performance can be, well, let's just say unpredictable.
So what happens when your business starts to really take off? You're moving massive amounts of data back and forth, and unpredictable performance just isn't going to cut it anymore. At that point, you need way more than the public highway. You need an upgrade. This is for when performance is absolutely everything. And this is that private expressway we were talking about. In the AWS world, it's called Direct Connect. The crucial detail is that this is a dedicated, private, and physical network connection between your building and AWS. This isn't just a secure tunnel through the internet. It's your very own private lane that completely bypasses the public internet. We're talking no traffic jams, no sharing with anyone, just consistent, high-speed performance you can actually count on. So putting them side by side really shows you the trade-offs. A VPN, super low cost, and you can get it running in just a few hours. It's incredibly fast to set up, but that performance is always going to be variable. Direct Connect, on the other hand, gives you that rock-solid, consistent speed, but it's going to cost you more, and it can take weeks, sometimes even months to get installed. It's that classic triangle, right? Good, fast, cheap. Pick two. All right, so you've picked your connection type, whether it's VPN or Direct Connect. But as your company keeps growing, you're adding new offices, new data centers, a totally new kind of problem starts to creep in: complexity. And if you're not careful, your network can turn into a real mess. It's time to tame that chaos. See, without a good plan, you end up with what we call a mesh network, and it's basically a big old plate of spaghetti. Every time you add a new location, you have to manually connect it to every other location. So if you have 3 offices, that's 3 connections. Okay, but add a 4th, and suddenly you need 6. A 5th? Now you need 10. It gets crazy complex, super expensive to manage, and one wrong move, one tiny mistake, can bring the whole network down. So how do you fix this spaghetti mess? Well, with a really simple and honestly beautiful architecture called Hub and Spoke. It's basically a 3-step process. First, you create a central hub in the cloud, something like an AWS transit gateway. Just think of it like a central train station. Second, you connect all your locations, your spokes, only to that central hub. And the benefit? It simplifies everything. If one office needs to talk to another, the data just goes to the hub and gets routed from there. So simple, so clean. And this is why it's so important. A clean, predictable network saves a ton of money on just running the thing, but more importantly, it drastically cuts down on the chance for human error. Those late-night, costly mistakes. It's an architecture that lets your business grow and scale without your network complexity just exploding right alongside it. It's all about building for the future. But, the journey doesn't stop there. The really successful companies today, they don't just use one cloud. They use the best services from multiple clouds. And that brings us to the final stage of our journey, expanding your horizons into the multi-cloud world. Sooner or later, the business is going to come to you with a new request.
They love the AWS setup, it's working great, but now a new project has to run in, say, Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud. So the question is, how do you connect these different cloud worlds without going right back to creating that same complex, messy web?
And this is where it gets really elegant. You just extend the exact same hub and spoke logic. The key is to place a virtual router. Think of it like a smart software-based traffic cop, right inside your central hub. This lets you intelligently direct traffic between AWS, your offices, and now your other clouds, all from that one single point of control. That beautiful simplicity just scales right up. So we've gone all the way from a single, simple connection to a really sophisticated multi-cloud network. How can you actually apply all this? Well, it all boils down to asking the right questions before you start building anything.
So here's a quick checklist for you. What are your real performance needs? Is variable okay, or do you need a solid guarantee? What's your budget, and how fast do you need to be up and running? And maybe, most importantly, you gotta look to the future. How complex do you think your network is gonna get in the next couple years? And will you need to connect to other cloud providers? Answering these questions up front is honestly the single best thing you can do.
So we'll just leave you with this final thought. Getting your business connected to the cloud today, that's one thing. But building a network architecture that's actually ready for the growth, the scale, and the multi-cloud complexity of tomorrow, that's another thing entirely. So the real question isn't just, are you connected? It's, is your connection ready for what's next?